Hello, and welcome to episode 57, where one of us is sick this time, but I'm your not sick host, Connor.
And I'm the sick one, Rodrigo. Great.
Sick in the best way possible, too, for a speaking podcast.
Yeah, throat infection. Love it.
Mm.
Love it. I also have a fire lighter with me today.
Why did...
Fire.
Why is he... Why do you have a fire lighter?
So I can light my candle.
That's currently lighting in his hand and that he's holding to his face smelling.
Smell good.
You got that.
Smell good, but also smell like fire.
It also smell like book you read.
It does. That was a weird experience. To explain to you all, I used to light this candle while I read a book, and then I didn't light it for a long time, and then I lit it up again the other day, and I just kept getting flashbacks to the book. It was a really weird experience. Kind of cool though. It was kind of cool.
Trippy as fuck, but I'd love to experience something like that.
It was really, really cool. I do recommend.
It takes a lot of conditioning. But anyway, we shall move on to movies because we don't have a whole lot of movies. Well, I say we don't have a whole lot. I mean, we're avoiding a whole lot because what do you want from us?
Literally, I say about, if there's 100 posts here on whatever site we're using, I say 90% of them are Spider-Man.
Very close, yes.
Very pretty much bang on. But we got 2 trailers within all of the Spider-Man nonsense. One that I don't really care about, one that I'm really excited about. So which one do you want first?
Obviously do not care about.
Okay, so we got the trailer for Fantastic Beasts 3.
Oh yeah.
So I think the main thing that stands out from this trailer is the lack of a certain person that we all love and care. Johnny Depp has obviously been replaced in this franchise. It was a bit weird. I was at first kind of looking, I was like, who's that? And then I realised that obviously he's gone now.
No, he's been replaced by Mads Mikkelsen. Now, I adore Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
I think he's fucking brilliant. But
Yeah,
we
not
do
against
wish
him.
he was there.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, definitely. The way they announced this trailer, though, I did kind of enjoy, because the way they did like a little sneak peek on, I believe it was Friday last week, and then on Monday the 13th they released the full trailer. But that sneak peek, it did a whole like kind of flashback to like all the Harry Potter movies, and like the way like it created a whole new world for us, and this and that, and it had like parts from like the Harry Potter world, and like all the fans with their thing. I don't know, it was kind of cool. It gave me a couple of fucking, what do you call it, goosebumps and shit. It was kind of cool.
Just a couple.
But because it was Harry Potter, not because it was a Fantastic Beasts release.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's
yeah.
we have his new teasing trailer for you, and it's like Harry Potter is like, no, forget all of that.
Yeah,
This is
it
the thing
was
we're
literally
actually
like, it was literally like clips from all the Harry Potter movies, and like the odd one from like the Fantastic Beasts, but mainly about Harry Potter. And then at the end they had like a 5-second clip from the movie. It's like, oh yes, and the trailer's here Monday, and it's like, oh, I thought I was just watching a little flashback to my childhood.
You love to remember it.
But now, okay, it's not a fantastic series. The Fantastic Beasts
Ironically.
ones. Yes. But I do enjoy just watching it for the fact that it's some sort of Harry Potter thing, and it fills a little bit of that void that we don't have Harry Potter anymore. And I kind of just
the only reason for it.
yeah, and that's the only reason I like kind of enjoy them, because it's kind of like, oh, it's a bit of Harry Potter. This is cool.
I see a wand, I'm like, cool.
See a wand, and yeah. I do like the animals in it though. I think that is a cool like unexplored thing in the Harry Potter universe. All the different creatures and stuff.
Yeah, well, it certainly should have been more explored because like the kestrels and
Mm.
the different minotaur, not minotaur, centaurs and stuff like that. Yeah, there was plenty of them looming around there. Which is one thing, like when the like Return to Hogwarts, I can't remember what it's called. Legends of Hogwarts or something. The game
Mm.
is coming out at some point. We have no idea when. I'm looking forward to that, exploring them a bit more.
Yeah.
But Fantastic Beasts is really cool to see them, and I love Harry Redmayne as well. So those two things combined does make it a watchable series. But I kind of just sit there and be like, cool, it's a prequel, and you've
Yeah.
gone back to Hogwarts. You've done literally everything I hoped you didn't do.
Yeah, like the first one's very good. I would say the first one is quite good. But then the second one is where it kind of falls off because they're kind of like they did the same thing like Star Wars does. It's just like bring back characters we already know. Like they had a cool thing. It's like, oh, we're no longer in England, we're in America. It's like, okay, we get to see this side of it that we really never got to see. And it's like, oh, and here's Dumbledore. I was like, yes.
And here's
We
Hogwarts
love
again. And here's Mystery Magic. Oh yeah,
and we're
here's
back.
everything you remember.
Yes. It's like, and we're back to the same thing. And I guess we go back to the thing we always say. It's probably not for us.
No, I actually do think it is for us, and that's the thing. Because you said it perfectly there. The reason why you watch it is because it fills the void of Harry Potter.
Yeah, I guess.
It's for people who like Harry Potter, just to get a little like crack hit of it. Like that's really it.
Yeah, true. And like we're getting that reunion soon as well. So I think like with the whole like reunion and releasing this trailer and everything, I say this movie's just going to be hyped up to beyond belief.
I don't know. I think the reunion will actually make people go, oh yeah, this is just Fantastic Beasts just isn't this.
Yeah, they could be like, oh, this is like what we missed, and it's like, we'll never get anything like this again.
I was terrified that we wouldn't be able to watch the Harry Potter reunion, which was like I for ages I was like, why are they only showing on HBO Max? That's so fucking stupid. The biggest thing in the world, and half the world can't get access to it.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, it's a Sky exclusive as well.
Okay.
So I was like, I need to get my parents. I have Sky, so I'm going to get my parents to record it so I can watch it later on.
Lucky for some. I'll watch YouTube clips somewhere on YouTube. But that's the one I'm not really looking forward to, but I'll watch it nonetheless.
Actually, I'm just staying on top of Harry Potter for a second. Apparently, its first edition book sold for $471,000, which is, I think, a record.
$471,000. Jesus Christ!
It is the most expensive commercially published 20th century work of fiction.
Fucking hell! Could you imagine, like, what was it, like 25 years ago, going to the library and seeing like, just recently published, like, oh, Harry Potter, oh, okay, I'll buy that, and then you just forget about it. It's in your shelf somewhere, and then you like grab it and go, this could be worth a lot of money. It's a first edition, and then you sell it for almost $500,000. It's mental.
Oh.
What?
Oh, never mind. Okay, no, I just looked up what's the most expensive books in the world, and just to put it this way, first off, it was adjusted for inflation in 2021 dollars, and the books included were not solely made for art. There's one called The Lilies, which sold for $5.5 million in 1985. Oh boy. Let's put it this way, the 30th place on this is coming at $2 million. Okay. This has got to be... Scroll... God, this is a big... God, I'm at 3.4 million at 24.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not even at the 20... I'm not out of the 20s yet, and I've hit 4.5.
What's number one going to be?
I don't know. I'm going to guess like 7 or something.
I'm going to go with like 20 million. I feel like there's going to be a massive drastic jump in a minute.
Yeah, because I just hit 15 and I've already hit 7 million.
I feel like a really drastic jump is going to come eventually. Who's buying these, by the way? Like, what difference does it make having the first edition of a book to the most latest edition, other than I have the old one?
Idea. I guess I have the old one.
I guess that's the only thing. How much? Was I right?
Oh, no.
Was I close?
Oh, sorry. They all sold. Sorry, yeah, no. It's you're getting close. I'm at 7 and it's 15 million.
Oh.
So we're almost there.
It's gonna be some shitty book that we probably won't up either.
Oh no! Hey, of course will.
Did you get there?
The Codex in Leicester. Oh fuck! It's one of the really hard to pronounce English places. Leicester. Fuck it.
Leicester. Yeah, probably Leicester.
Probably Leicester. Yeah. It was sold in 1994 and it was worth $54.4 million.
Holy shit.
Leonardo da Vinci's Codex Leicester, also known as the Codex Hammer, is the most expensive book ever sold.
Well, the Da Vinci Code, who wouldn't want to have that?
It's 72 pages of linen, and it's sold for $54 million.
I would, if I bought that, I would be terrified to like just even touch it and read it. I'd just be like, that's gonna go in a box and never opened again, because I'm not buying a $54 million book for me to open it once and crack the spine on it, and then it's worthless.
Well, like, that's the thing. You can't even do anything with that book because it's from like Leonardo da Vinci's time.
Yeah. What's it gonna do? Like,
fucking hell.
Again, I feel like those like really ridiculous purchases, like a really expensive book, they're just kind of like, it's just kind of like, oh look, I have it and you don't. Like, you're not really gonna do anything with it.
No, it's just a fucking asset, really.
Yeah. But there you go.
On to the other trailer that you're actually looking forward to.
Yes, the one I'm really looking forward to, and I thought was fucking awesome, was the Sonic Hedgehog 2 trailer.
Oh yeah, I actually really like the look at that. Now really made me want to actually watch the first one.
When Knuckles, obviously it's got Knuckles is introduced in this, which is awesome. I've always loved Knuckles more than Sonic, but the way he's introduced is just fucking amazing. Like, have you seen that clip?
No, but I know everyone's saying is trending sexy Knuckles.
like if you want to follow it up there and just skip to, it's literally the last part of the trailer. He's just so fucking awesome, and I just really cannot wait for this. Like I loved the first one, and I was excited for the second one, but now I'm just even more excited for the second one.
It's coming out pretty soon, actually.
Yeah. Do we have
April 2022?
That is quite soon, actually. Yeah. Actually, April 8th. So really close. It's still called Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but in Japan, they kind of, I think they released the name of it, and it's Sonic versus Knuckles. And I saw a funny headline somewhere that said Sonic versus Knuckles is gonna try to do Batman versus Superman, but they'll get it right.
Yeah, Knuckles vs Sonic will do what Batman vs Superman did, but do it better. Yes. So I was like, yeah, but that's actually what I want to talk about. It of course will.
Yeah.
It's of course going to be the two of them, because that's, in fairness, that is how the games were. Because I remember at the beginning, Knuckles was a villain for a while, and then they fought, and then Eggman came along and they changed. So there's a weird sense of the game lore of Sonic the Hedgehog is actually being listened to, which is fucking hilarious to me. But I love that, and it is of course going to be Batman versus Superman, just Knuckles versus Sonic, obviously. But I do
Yeah.
genuinely think that's what I wanted to say. They have to make reference to it. They have to make reference to Batman versus Superman. And if they don't, it's such a missed opportunity. Or if they gotta shout a name or something, and they'd be like, "Why did you say that name?" It's like, I don't know, or some shit like that, and just move on. And if they just do one reference to it, that's movie of the year for me, because
that'll be fantastic. Brilliant. Yeah, like, could you imagine if they just shout Martha for no reason, and then
that would be perfect.
Why did you say that name? I don't know, it just came to mind, and then just move on.
Yeah. Or they just make reference to it being said, like something, because that's what people recognize as being the most dumb shit thing in that movie.
Yeah.
So I would love if they made reference to it. They should make reference to it. There's no real, like, they can't get sued for that. It's just making fun of another movie. That's a parody. Get over yourself. You're not going to sue a blue hedgehog.
Yeah, that'd be great if they did do something like that. That'd be fantastic. But I am really looking forward to this film. The first one was really, really good, and I do recommend anyone that hasn't seen it to watch it. It's quite good. And I just want to watch the second one. But I think what I love about this whole new developing franchise in Sonic is the fact that the first one was gonna flop with that original design.
Oh, yeah.
And then everyone basically bullied a whole studio into redesigning the Sonic back to its original design, which I don't know why they didn't originally go with the original design of Sonic and go with a tall, lanky, scary looking thing. And then just go, okay, we hear you, we'll change it, and then the film was fantastic. Because if they didn't change it, we don't get this next film. We don't get this.
Yeah.
I just love that people were able to just go, no, change it, and they were like, okay.
But like, the fact that they were willing to spend $4 million on it, it was more than $4 million.
It was a bit more,
a few million.
Yeah.
The fact they were willing to spend a few million on actually changing it, and the fact that they did change it in the first place, I think they assumed to some degree, or at least anticipated there to be some form of backlash, and had a backup plan type of thing that would still cost a bit of money, but ultimately changed everything.
Yeah, they definitely had like the original design, the trailer, the movie, everything done, and then someone was like, I don't know about this design, and then they were like, look, we can't just change it now. We'll release it, and if we get a big backlash, we'll change it, and then that's probably what happened. Because the amount of movies that have gotten big backlash from trailers, designs, blah blah blah, and nothing is done, is more than things that are actually done. So they probably did, like you said, have a backup plan of some sort to try and fix it. But that's all the movie news I have. Do you have anything?
The only thing I had that I kept open because I just found it really interesting is I saw a thing where it was like Disney's focusing on princesses getting their Prince Charming. It's such an old Disney fixing one of its old princess problems type of thing, which is them always finding Prince Charming.
Okay.
And we kind of made the question of like, to some degree, them finding a Prince Charming is right. So then I kind of looked through everything. I looked through the Walt Disney Animation Studios movies, and I kind of just realized like the princesses actually make up such a minority of what they make.
Yeah.
And when I look at what the princesses, like how they met, and I say that with a big thing, it's not really them finding it, it's them being found by or getting used to Stockholm syndrome.
Or say.
It's the thing.
Yeah.
Because like Snow White and Seven Dwarves, she was unconscious in a coffin of glass. And she got kids who woke up and went, oh hi, and then that was kind of it. Like, so then I kind of went through like some of the really old ones because they were saying all the old classics. I think he said Disney classics focused on it, so that's what kind of made me go, how many classics are actually Disney princesses? So that's why it always confuses me when you think Disney classic. I actually don't think princesses, but so many people do.
Yeah.
So when I went through Disney classics, it was like Snow White was like, again, passed out in a coffin. Then Pinocchio, not a princess. Fantasia, not a princess. Dumbo, princess, no. Bambi, not a princess. Saludos, Migos, I haven't actually watched it. The three caballeros, no,
Caballeros,
that's
yeah.
not a thing. Okay, yeah, sorry, two L's, that sound. Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Cinderella is probably the best form of Prince Charming because his name is actually Prince Charming in it, and she goes and finds him. So that's like
True.
the first time where I could say, yeah, okay, that is a Prince Charming thing. Alice in Wonderland, no. Peter Pan, no. Lady and the Tramp, bestiality form of it, kind of. Sleeping Beauty also passed out from pricking something and then woken up by a random guy.
Yeah.
101 Dalmatians, nope. Sword and Stone, nope. Jungle Book, no. Aristocrats, no. Robin Hood, no. Winnie the Pooh, hope not. The Rescuers, not really. It's a young girl being saved by two mice, which I fucking love that movie. Fox the Hound, no. Black Cauldron, so dark, by the way. Great Mouse Detective, also great. Oliver and Company. Little Mermaid is kind of it as well, where she goes to try and find it.
Because she sees him and then she goes, okay,
yeah,
let's go find him. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's being saved and then there's finding, like, by the Prince Charming, which is not really to their, like, fault. They are unconscious.
If anything, it's actually creepy from them.
Yeah, it's actually
like,
kind of fucking weird.
It is like if I was walking through the woods one day and I see a coffin with a woman lying down with her hands crossed and she's
well preserved.
She's well preserved, we'll say. My first thought isn't, if I kiss her, she'd wake up, or because okay, that's not even their thought. They're just like, oh, I'll just kiss her. Like, I know we're exaggerating this a little bit because they did obviously know them and they went looking for them or whatever, but it is a bit creepy.
Is it? Is
yeah,
that what happened in Snow White?
Yeah, they knew each other and he finds her and he's like sad or whatever and he gives her a kiss and she wakes up because, you know, true love does that too. But it is kind of creepy though.
Oh yeah, no. Well, like what I meant to say, it's weird. Not that happens. Of course, it's fucking weird. That is not something I have to say. It's weird that like up until this point, there's really been two princesses that have been kind of like what I would say more normal finding or going after the Prince Charming of like Little Mermaid. Theater likes to do it, and Cinderella like supersedes class norms and shit like that, and like finds her that way. The other ones have just been unconscious and kissed.
Yeah.
And even the next one I'm going to say is fucking this is the epitome of Stockholm syndrome, which is Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. And then you also have like Tangled, where
I'm going to get to there because next one's Aladdin, which isn't necessarily like her finding the Prince Charming. It's a Prince Charming just like lying to her constantly and then
lying the whole way through and going,
yeah,
you did it because you love me,
with no nipples. It's ever since that's been pointed out to me that Aladdin does not have nipples. Every time I watch it, I just go, yep, none.
Yeah, but like, could you imagine if you did though? The uproar that would occur.
What difference would it make? It's a guy.
It would make no difference, but people would lose their mind with like, oh, you're sexualizing a cartoon. It's like, no,
it's a nipple.
Just accurate to real anatomy.
Actually, did Tarzan have nipples? I think he did.
I think he does.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I was gonna say, don't.
Is that another Mandela effect? Tarzan actually didn't have nipples.
Well, have you seen that like scene where he's swinging while he's carrying whatever her name is? What's her name? Mary Jane.
Jane. Not Mary Jane, just Jane.
Just Jane. And he's carrying her and he's swinging on a vine and he's like, how is he grabbing this vine?
Oh yeah, it was nice and clasped between his cheeks.
100%.
Lion King is not. Pocahontas isn't really like, what do you call it? Prince Charming. It's more so help stop my people getting killed.
Yeah, I feel like Pocahontas and Mulan are like the two
next one.
Female princesses that aren't like, oh, I need a man to save me. They're like, I can do this myself.
Mulan is kind of like a little bit like maybe not because she's like, I need to become a man to do this. So it's like. I know it's the whole a woman can do whatever a man does, which is dead true. But like, well, majority of the time, but like with Mulan, it's like there's two ways of looking at it. Is she had to become one to do it, or she just kind of like did it because norms.
Yeah, yeah.
Hunchback of Notre Dame is definitely not. There is no Prince Charming in that. Hercules isn't really a Prince Charming. He's a demigod that is a nice guy. So, in a toxic relationship kind of thing. Tarzan, Fantasia, Dinosaur, definitely not a fucking thingy. Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis, Leader of Stitch, Treasure Planet, Brother Bear, Home Range, little like. The Princess and the Frog also really isn't like Prince Charming. I guess that's like the first real one where it's like, excuse me. That's like, okay, it's like a take on the Prince Charming thing of you found your frog.
Found the frog and I kissed it and it was weird.
Oh, that's the other thing. If you're going around kissing frogs, you need to go to an asylum. You need to be institutionalized pretty damn fast.
Yeah, I've never seen. Forget about a frog. I've never seen an animal and go, what would happen if I kissed him in the mouth right now? Never,
yeah,
never once has that crossed my mind.
The thing is, it's kiss him on the mouth.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's not like
you kiss a dog in the face,
rub and I kiss your tummy or something. No. You grab him and smooch him right in the mouth. Never really thought my mind crossed my mind, to be honest. I'll be fully honest.
There's Tangled for you, which is like also kind of Prince Charming, but they changed Tangled as well to him being a bit of a dunce for most of it and then being nice.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like Ralph Frozen doesn't even have a Prince Charming really, except for the poor guy that rides around with reindeers. And Moana was the other one, and Brave, which I think I missed, or Brave, wasn't just on his list for some reason. But yeah,
there's no Prince Charming in Brave, I believe.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, Brave and Moana are like the two that were like, these are the ones that changed the whole Prince Charming thing. I'm like, yeah, kind of. Like, you kind of look through all the other ones, and there's plenty of others in there that are like, the guy is chasing her as opposed to her chasing the guy, and all the shit. So I guess the only reason why they said that was because there's none at all.
Yeah. But have you seen that clip from Wreck-It Ralph 2 with all the princesses?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
just, yeah.
If there's ever more of an indication of what the fuck, it's like
that's the clip.
It's more of a reference to like Brothers Grimm and how massively messed up they were, but yeah, like it's really funny. It's like prisoner or enslaved.
Yeah, and then saved by a man, and it's like yes, but yeah.
But even then, the majority of the people who said that were unconscious in a coffin.
But they believe, Stockholm Syndrome, that they were saved by a man.
That too. Yeah, like, well, yeah. They also have a new movie coming out, which is called Strange World, actually.
Did they?
Yeah, it does have a new movie. It's like sci-fi as well, which is like, it's not unheard of, but I just like to see, like, I think the past few ones have all been real just fantasy and like not real. Like Big Hero 6 is probably like one of the more sci-fi ones, but like even jumping all the way, this doesn't seem complete, but like I can't remember the last proper like sci-fi Disney movie, I guess, because like Encanto was the last release, and it was Raya, Frozen. I guess Wreck-It Ralph is kind of sci-fi, but it's more a video game than Moana, Zootopia. So like all of them were pretty much, except for Big Hero, pretty much like fantasy. Even Zootopia to an extent is still fantasy. So seeing this one as a proper sci-fi one that like really reminisces, like hits a Treasure Planet chord in me, because that's a film which no one knows about. I'm like, how the fuck do you not know about this movie?
Really underrated.
Oh, incredibly so. So underrated. I love that movie.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Yeah. I just saw a picture there of the Strange World one. It kind of reminds me a bit of the what's it called? Onward? Is it Onward or Atward?
Onward, yeah. The color scheme definitely kind of, or the way that the sky looks and the colors, a little bit. Like the inverted form of it. No.
I recommend that one. I Is that Pixar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Even if you know what's gonna happen, because I watched it, obviously was emotion at the end, like every other Pixar movie ever. But then I was also like, it's like, okay, that was once, and then I rewatched it. I was like, oh, that hit me just as hard as the first time. Good though, it's very good.
Wait, when did Encanto come out?
Only recently, I think.
Like, how recently though?
Like last week or two, a month ago, the 24th of November.
Okay, that's why. I was wondering why I didn't hear much about it, because I'm looking through. I know we're a little bit over time on movies, but we don't have that much on TV. Because I'm looking through the worldwide earnings of movies.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, Zootopia made $1.024 billion and Frozen 2 made $1.45 billion. That's a crazy amount to even think about. But Encanto only made $69 million. First off, nice. Second off,
Nice.
oh no.
Yeah, quite low for. Well, I'm looking at here box office 151 million.
No, that's budget.
Okay.
Are
That's
you on
quite
Wikipedia
low.
as well?
I believe that is Wikipedia, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's budget. It's budget worldwide. It's very.
Oh, 120 million budget is 150 million budget is insane. That's mental. I'm sure it's good though.
260.
Like, I'm sure the movie's
Oh
good.
yeah.
But I feel like when it released, it was kind of like leading up to like this whole Spider-Man thing, and then it kind of everything has been overshadowed by this Spider-Man. Like, a bunch of movies are coming out in December, but like literally no one's talking about them because they only want one thing. So, but yeah, that's
Chicken Little has the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score on. Oh, these are not correct at all.
Chicken Little bangs.
Of course they do. And so is Atlantis and Brother Bear. Oh, these people are not right in the head.
Chicken Little was awesome. Anyone that says otherwise is wrong, and there should have been Chicken Little 2, but we got robbed of that. But
That game was really hard, actually.
the game was awesome.
The game was
really
awesome,
hard,
but it was so
awesome.
hard.
Really, really
Anyway,
hard.
we need to move on. We were well over time.
Oh, man, I want to watch Chicken Little again. Fuck.
We
What a film.
can.
But yeah, TV shows. I have very little on this. Only one thing.
Say your one thing, so.
We were talking about this quite a lot, about how it was going to be potentially work out really well and all this. No, Cowboy Bebop has been cancelled.
Yeah, and this seems to be another Lovecraft Country, where it's like it was all expected to get renewed. Like, they had scripts written for season 2. The cast. I remember the person who plays Spike coming out and being like, "Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is how it's going to change." And then it was just like, "Yeah, it's been cancelled."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay," but this thing I can't understand is I never got a clear-cut opinion from people on what the show is like. I never actually, because every time I went into the comment section, people said, "Oh, the anime is better" or stuff. But then I equally see as many people saying, "I thought it was really good." It really, when it was like one character got released, I think his name was Ed or something like that, Edsplosion or some shit. It's a dumb name. But once he got released and they were like, "This is what he looks like," everyone was like, "Okay, what the fuck?" And that's when they took a big step back, and I think that's what made them go, "Pull a fucking plug, for the love of God, we can't get this out." Pull it. Yeah, that's the thing. It feels like it's another. Now, with Lovecraft Country, there was apparently more on-set issues than there was, like, actual ratings-wise, which is a fair reason to call something quits. But this didn't seem it, and this wasn't, I didn't think, a horrible reviews. That's the thing. Because I got mixed every time I pay attention to it.
It got mixed, and I feel like that is what Cowboy Bebop was always going to get. Because it is like, you either love it or hate it. Like it's a weird style of show, with like each episode being its own kind of thing. Um, but like when it came out on November 19th, which I didn't know it was out that long, it had 74 million viewing hours from the premiere. So like that's quite a lot of, like 74 million is a lot. And then it declined 59% from November till the 5th of December, which I guess is expected when you bulk drop a show like Netflix always do, just drop 10 episodes and move on. But especially from a niche show, you know, like a show that's so niche, like Cowboy Bebop, is always gonna get a huge influx at the start because people are anticipating, and then it'll drop off. That's always gonna happen. But I guess they don't care. I guess if they don't see like the longevity of a show, they just go, okay, that's it, we're out.
Yeah, but they also released it like, okay, in fairness, I don't think people really anticipated Arcane to be as good as it was.
No, I don't think so. But it blew up.
Yeah, that got released like close enough to this, and I didn't even know Tiger King 2 was out.
Neither did I. I thought that was it's coming at some stage.
No, it apparently had 30 million views.
Quite low.
Quite high, apparently.
Okay.
Apparently, that's the thing. No, it's 30 million, not 30 million hours. It's just 30 million views. But the show averaged 6 on the list of top 10, so it was still within the top 10 releases.
Yeah.
But it was getting plenty of streams for a mid-release, and it did snag number 1 spot at one point.
Yeah.
So they say that it was its performance in match what the series was thought to be capable of.
What did they think it was capable of?
Yeah, what were they anticipating? Why would you release something that's so divisive, that you know is going to be divisive, that you know is going to be be heavily criticized by two people, and they also say it created a divide. What were you guys anticipating? Did you think everyone was gonna fucking love this? I don't get what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I said, this show was always going to be niche. It's always going to be you either love it or you hate it type of thing. So, for what it did, I don't think it did that bad. For niche?
Is it niche?
I would say so.
I mean, a lot of people would be into it, so I wouldn't say it's niche.
But I guess it's niche because if you don't watch anime, you wouldn't know about Cowboy Bebop. And anime is still technically niche in this side of the world.
You said the word niche today, don't you?
Niche. Yeah. Meaning niche. That's the definition of niche for you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, I was surprised at the fact they cancelled it so soon. But Netflix does have a track record of cancelling shows that do relatively well. Because true. I feel like sometimes they do have just that expectation that is way too high. And then like other shows that do really well, they take really long to renew anyway. Like Outer Banks got renewed for season 3. I want to say one of the biggest shows they have on Netflix. Alongside like the things like You and Stranger Things. I say it's up there. And they took 6 months to renew. Which is a very long time for a show that's was so successful and raked in bare money. And like the whole cast in that is relatively young, relatively new, so they're not paying them a load of money that they're like, okay, we need to make our money back and see. Like I wouldn't say they're getting paid a lot of money, that cast, you know. So I don't know, they have really weird ways of renewing stuff and things. So I don't know.
They have weird ways of catering for what people watch. They saw Squid Game come out. They saw how good it was, and then they rightfully decided to put some more Korean stuff on it. But they rightfully kind of did it in like that was a realistic type of thriller, Squid Game, and then the next one that they put up was Hellbound, which was a more fantasy, more looks to be a little more gory based, horror themed show, and it did just as well because they've made a good decision there, being like, yeah, okay, people want more Korean stuff, people want more of this type of show, and they did, but altered it a little bit so it feels even more fresh, and they made a great decision because it did great, and now there's more Korean stuff coming.
Yeah.
But with this, it's like they had to plan to remake a show.
Yeah.
With Cowboy Bebop, they had to plan to remake the show. So initially, they had to come into the thought process that there was going to be a divide, and they had to come into the idea that no matter what they do, it's not going to get as good a review as the original. It's not going to happen unless they do something absolutely crazy.
Which is very rare.
So the fact they had such incredible high hopes for this makes me really confused because, again, with Hellbound, they made a good decision to bring that back.
Yes.
Sorry, not to bring that back, but to like bring back more Korean stuff. And they did that, and it was a great idea.
Fantastic.
And it did fantastic because they made a good decision. But for some reason, they just thought otherwise with the release of a beloved anime show. It was like, this will do good because the original is so popular. That's not how that fucking works. And then they were like, oh, you didn't like it, so we're not going to do another one. It's like, no, you just didn't think properly.
Yeah. Like, I just looked up how popular was the Cowboy Bebop show, the anime, the Netflix one. Okay. I know you touched on the top 10 stuff, but like top 10 in 72 countries. And averaging the third spot is insane. That's quite good. Like, I don't understand. That is quite good. I don't know what were they expecting, like number ones across the board. And like I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't know what the thought process was. If they're like, oh, it was removed because it didn't do as good and created a fan divide. If you, as you said, in over 70 countries, the average top 3, and of course, like that's. What were they expecting? Were they expecting number ones across the board without other shows being released? If they didn't want that show, if they wanted that show to be number one, they should have just scheduled everything to not be released around when it was released. So when Arcane came along, of course it's going to fucking bump it down. When Hellbound came along, of course it's going to bump it down. People are going to watch other things than that. So, and it still baffles me that they're like, oh, it created a fan divide. Of fucking course, it's a remake. What were you thinking? That everyone was going to love it from the get-go?
Yeah, like, I'd like to know what bet.
Whoops.
What bet it? Like, what was above it?
Arcane, Hellbound.
And Tiger King, probably.
And Tiger King.
But, like, again, Tiger King, Netflix show. Hellbound, Netflix show. But is it a Netflix show, Hellbound? I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and... So, like, two Netflix shows, and obviously Cowboy Bebop makes it 3. Why release the 2 if you were expecting Cowboy Bebop to be the next fucking greatest thing in the world? Why release them at the same time? Doesn't make sense.
Because the thing is, as well, it was like Hellbound and Arcane released... Wait, hang on. When I assume Cowboy Bebop was released before those two. I'm sure it was.
I believe it was... November 24th or 19th or something.
November 19th. So that's when that was. So November 19th. And that was having Hellbound television series. That was also November 19th.
And Tiger King 2 was November 17th.
Okay. And
so
now
within
Arcane,
3 days.
Arcane was November 6th. So like...
So
you have all these shows,
and
they just be like, we'll send it out as well. I'm like,
Yeah.
It's not. That's not how that goes down.
So like within 2 days they release 3, and within 10 days they release 4, and they go, oh fuck, this didn't do well.
Didn't do as well.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Okay, maybe Arcane you can kind of take out of the equation because they probably never thought it was gonna blow up like the way it did. So
like
you go, okay,
you can't really, since it was back in November 6th, because it was so far back and it started gaining as it went on. You should have been like, hang on, this might perform better. Let's hold off. And with Hellbound, you might as well. People are all about Korean stuff at the moment. Why would you release a Korean thing beside this other thing and expect the Korean thing not to do better?
Yeah, like Squid Game was released in September, and like at the end of September, and the hype was still going all the way through to November for this show. So why release another Korean show that people are looking for? Because more people are kind of expanding into more foreign shows and stuff because of how well Squid Game was received and stuff, and then you go, let's just release all these within 2 days.
Yeah.
And they'll all do fantastic. Like, could you imagine if like they released like their biggest shows, like let's say like You season 3 or whatever they're on now, and like Stranger Things season 4 on the same day?
I know.
Obviously one of them or both of them are gonna lack in viewership, obviously, but they would never do that. Why? Because they go, we want them both to be really successful. So why do this with a show that you want to be really successful?
It's just planning at this point.
Yeah, it's I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
No, I don't get it either.
That's Netflix. I mean, they're making money, so they know what they're doing, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, they don't apparently, if they're calling their own show shit when the ones that can't think correctly about them.
Yeah. What other TV show stuff do you have? We went on a little rant there that we didn't know what was going to happen.
We do. I mean, I'm hearing that like, the Boba Fett show is going to be more like a mobster thing.
Okay.
And I'm a bit more intrigued because I got scared because at one point I saw it was like Boba Fett's going to war on Tatooine, so I instantly thought he was going to rally a bunch of forces and be like, literally have a full-on war on Tatooine. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this. But then I saw it, I was like, no, it's like Godfather. It was like, oh, so it's a mafia mobster type of war. I'm a bit more okay with that. I would like to see like a movie of a younger Boba Fett, you know, actually hunting bounties, or at least like a proper bounty hunter show of a man, like I was say yeah, I guess that is just the beginning of Mandalorian. Yeah, I guess so, but maybe a bit more grittier and not for kids. But the idea of him being able to use his like bounty hunting like knowledge of where to hit targets and shit like that, I would be very interested to see what a mafia based show on Tatooine looks like.
It's just gonna be fucking Peaky Blinders in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Without the razors and the caps. That is kind of a cool concept, or a cool different way to approach it, I guess. But I still have a lot of reservations because I feel like having 2 Mandalorian shows, because basically Boba Fett is basically a Mandalorian, is a bit saturating, and it's going to be very repetitive or very similar to each other.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of holding off Boba Fett. And I also hope that the Boba Fett show doesn't take away from the Mandalorian.
Yeah, no, I definitely won't.
Yeah. Hopefully, anyway. Is this set at the same time as the Mandalorian, or was it like before the same time? Okay.
Yeah, sure. The end of the Mandalorian was him getting onto the throne.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true. You are correct there. Will we see a Mandalorian crossover then? Are we gonna have
most
some
likely.
sort of like fucking shit thing with like the Ahsoka series as well, with it gonna be like that that Flashverse shit where they have like the Flash, they have the Green Arrow, and they have the League of Legends, and then they're all kind of like going on at the same time, and then one episode a season we have a massive crossover, and it's like,
No, they won't do that with Ahsoka. There's no way they could, because there's like, first off, Ahsoka didn't see Boba Fett, and she wouldn't work with a bounty hunter like that, especially since she's the way she is, and she's already working with Ren, not Sabine Wren. I can't remember what her name is, another Mandalorian from Rebels. So she's there as well. So there's no point in them doing that. God, I love the Mandalorians nowadays, but they'll definitely. I can see Mando coming back. Excuse me, and coming in for an episode or two to Boba Fett. I cannot see a proper what you call it, as you say, crossover. I could probably see him trying to find forces with Boba Fett, being like, you have contacts in places, I need something from you, can you help me out? But that's probably the most that they're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't see them doing like multiple episodes of a master crossover. I can't see one giant one having all of them in it.
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit smarter than that.
You're giving them a lot of credit there.
I think with Star Wars they are to a degree, in fairness.
Okay.
Because of the way that they've handled purely because of the way they've handled the Bad Batch. Even though, like, the more I think of the Bad Batch, the more I'm like, okay, it's an alright show. It was just cool to see Star Wars again, and it was really cool to see the clones being the bad guys. But the way that they handle that, in that sense that the clones are the bad guys, and the way that they're handling like Visions and Acolyte and now Book of Boba, the way that I'm seeing them doing it, I think they do kind of have their heads on screwed a bit more correctly nowadays. Now the Obi-Wan series I'm a little bit skeptical about. The more and more I think about that, the more and more I'm like, okay, the only reason why we're excited for it is to see Ewan McGregor again. I will definitely watch it for Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
I will not watch it for the story, because I don't know what else they can do realistically.
Yeah, it depends what they do, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he does just spend his 20 years on that planet. I know they'll be like, oh, he did leave, but in theory he really never left. So yeah, I guess we're looking forward to seeing him, and we're probably looking forward to seeing him fight Darth Vader again in some sort of a reunion and something like that. I just hope if they do, okay, they're gonna bring back Darth Vader. I hope they have a really cool, like, Rogue One Darth Vader. They don't make him like a little bitch. I hope he's like proper. Because he is one of the coolest characters ever, and they just really make him into a little bitch in the movies.
Well, we've been through this before. They did make him one. They had to, because of what? He's frozen. I'll keep talking. It's not that they made him a bitch. It's that, like, they were so limited by the time that they kind of just resulted in it. But they kept hinting that he was that powerful and terrifying. So, yeah, who knows really? At this point, we're probably, like, I'm sure we will get flashbacks to him being bad, and there will be a fight between them. But, like, that will also limit what Darth Vader can do, because he's not going to be as badass as he can possibly be, and, like, God knows what they'll actually do with Darth Vader at this point. I'm sure they will make him badass looking, and my thing crashed. I'll just keep talking for a second anyway. Just me and you guys now. Like, I don't know what they'll actually do with Darth Vader. I don't know how they're going to do it with the meter because if they have Hayden Christensen here, like I don't know what the hell's going to happen. Okay, did your Discord crash too, or was it just mine?
I think it was just yours.
Okay, that was really weird. Might think hard crash, but I kept talking about Darth Vader for a few minutes, so we'll just move on because I do want to talk about something else.
Okay. Good points there. Technical difficulties. Gotta love them.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What do you want to move on to there?
The thing I wanted to talk about, just like, I wanted to get a little bit more time on, but we started talking about Star Wars a lot more, was, like, there's there's a female composer who did What If, it's the question mark fucking Marvel show, speaks out about being overlooked by like people nowadays and how female composers continue to face harassment and discrimination in the movie industry.
Okay.
And yeah, there definitely should be more recognition towards them, and there definitely should be more there should be more of a limelight shone on female directors. God, what's going on with me right now? Not directors, composers. I kind of racked my brain, and I was trying to figure out, like, what ones do I know? And I know a few video game ones, like Sarah Sackner for Assassin's Creed Origins. I know, like, in that regard, I know a few of them. But, like, I think of the composers that I know, and, like, they are literally the best of the best, in fairness. Like, the composers that we all know and are always being chosen, like John Williams, Hans Zimmer. They are literally the best of the best. I really, like, I don't want this to become a thing where it's like, they have female composers should definitely absolutely have more of a limelight shone on them, but
Yeah.
at the same time it goes down to they definitely should be proven, but I think they should definitely not be overlooked. They should definitely be given more places to prove themselves.
Yes.
And there's definitely a few around that are like paving that way. So I think it's not necessarily that. I think it's more so that they just need to be given more positions to prove that they really are and can be as good as them. But I think that's more the main thing. It's not necessarily that. I'll talk personally. It's not in my mind that I'm like, oh, a female can't compose. That's complete and utter bullshit. It's more so that the ones that it's music, and if you give enough time, I know it can. But I'm a massive soundtrack nerd, and I listen to it, I study, and I do. So I always pay attention to soundtracks. It's not that I overlook them. Is that there's others that captivate me a lot more.
Yeah.
And when I look at, I'm desperately trying to find a decent list of female composers that tell me what they've done. Okay, hang on, this might help me out. Because a lot of hang on. Yeah, this also doesn't just tell me any good ones she's done. Like Emma in 1996. Okay, so she did a few other ones. That's Rachel Portman. But, like, I don't know many of the movies.
Yeah.
Manchester by the Sea. There you are. There's one.
I feel like
Leslie
it
Barber.
definitely probably is a very hard thing to get into anyway.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Even if you're, like, obviously, if you're a woman, obviously it's probably a lot harder than if you're a man. But even if you're a man, it must be really hard as well. Because, like, if a big studio has the option to go with an unknown person or Hans Zimmer, they're going to go with Hans Zimmer.
And yeah, that is the thing. This is one. Wendy Carlos. She composer. She did work on A Clockwork Orange and The Shining. So, like, there's some pretty big things. And then 1982 she did Tron. So, like, she had some pretty big ones there. But you're right in the sense of, like, there definitely should be more opportunities. But at the same time, when if you are going to pick, yeah, I think that kind of supports my thing. If you're going to pick an unknown or the best of the best that's out there at the moment, I'd go for the best of the best, and it's not. Yeah, it's really. It'll always be a thing with us. We are never going to be like, oh, it's a guy over a girl always. No, it's just if you're going to be serenaded by someone, it's going to be like Nicholas Hooper or John Williams or Hans Zimmer or some of them. Like,
Yeah.
they just know how to do it and how to brilliantly do it. They're just geniuses at it.
Yeah, but they also got like, I don't want to say lucky because obviously they're fantastic.
But
they also did get lucky because they obviously got one movie that maybe wasn't meant to be a fantastic film, was going to be amazing, it was going to blow up, but they just did the soundtrack, whatever, and the movie blows up, and therefore the soundtrack blows up, and therefore they're on this level now. They're like, oh, okay, this guy did the soundtrack for this amazing film. So there must be some element of luck as well. With that, I feel like it's probably harder to be a composer than like an actor, you know, because an actor, well, there's multiple roles in the film. A composer is one person, and that's it, you know. So it must be really hard to get into that industry anyway.
So yeah, like, as long as it's, again, it's not that we're saying no, what the hell are you talking about? There is absolute representation. No, you're right, there isn't. But I think there should just be more places for them to actually show their proper metal rather than. Yeah, but again, as you said, it's hard. It's. Yeah, anyway, we should move on to games.
We should. One sec. Yeah, go on. What do you have?
We have the Game Awards. No, sorry. Before we go to the Game Awards, there is even more like Halo Infinite. I need to keep talking about it because it is the greatest game ever. Like the devs at Halo Infinite are actually like proper listening to their fucking fans, because for a while we were like, oh, it's after the holidays that they're going to be getting Slayer and a bunch of other multiplayer matches. It's coming fucking next week, which next could be this week.
This week. It'll probably be this week. Yeah.
This week or next week, whenever we're
4
actually getting
Slayer
a bunch of
modes as well.
Yeah, but the other thing as well is they're also adding a little bit of extra like player-based performance XP gain. I'm like, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. It's amazing when they can like listen to what we want. Like they're bringing out obviously 4 Slayer modes, one being a SWAT as well.
Thank God.
Yeah, so like that's massive. They probably had a thing where they were like, oh, let's wait, hopefully people will get into other game modes and then we'll send it. But then they heard, no, we just want Slayer. Like, these game modes are good, multiplayer is good, all this, but we just want Slayer. And they're like, oh, okay, let's give it to you. And like, people complained about not being able to replay campaign missions, and they're like, oh, okay, no problem, we're working on that, so you could be able to replay them. I know it's a little hard to have a feature like that, because especially with the whole open world-esque type of it.
It's hard to do it without copying Destiny, I feel. Because the way I can imagine them doing it is like what Destiny does, which is have like the flags that you can go up to and replay missions that way. But again, that's going to be copying, that's a direct copy, but I feel like it's realistically the only way they could do it.
It's the only way you can do it, especially with open world, to just have a flag or a person that you go talk to and be like, oh, I need help, and then you help them do the mission, and that's it. That's really the only way I could imagine it working. But I feel like the main thing that has really blown up from Halo in the past week or two, a week, it's only been out a week, is the grunt lines.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
They are fantastic. Like, I seen one where a grunt blows the Spartan up and you die, and he says something, but at the end he goes, he's like, oh yes, it's my turn to play the Xbox now, or something like that. And it's fucking fantastic. It's just little things like that just just make the game just that little bit more.
Yeah.
Like connects with the fans really well. They're just not just talking about the game. It's talking about, it's just humorous and everything. I just fucking love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Like, it's the one thing I kept saying to you when I was playing it the other night of like, I love to just randomly walk around the place. I'm doing as many things as I can. The only collectibles I'm not getting all in one go is the skulls and the audio files. God help me when I have to do the audio files. There's so many of them. But what I hope they do is kind of be like, oh, you already got this one. This is another one. Which they generally do with the terminals and skulls in the other Halos. So I'm sure it's no different. So, but what I love to just do everything I possibly can while I'm doing it, which is why I'm in the midst of the final boss fight. So I pray to God it's not like, you can't go around the place after this. That's a shame for you, isn't it? I'm like, no, wait, I have one more thing of each. Because they hid it on my map for some reason, so I have to like go back and get them. But like I love randomly roaming around the place, but there's just random occurrences. Like there's like on top of a random spire, there's not even a collectible up there. There's not a skull. There's not a there might be a skull I just missed. Excuse me. There's not a skull. There's not a audio file, a Spartan core, or a Mjolnir armor locker. It's literally just a random peak, and there's just like an encampment of grunts on it. That's it. A small, just grunts, little campfire in the middle of it, and all of them asleep around it. I'm like, this is really fucking like cool just to come across.
Yeah.
But the coolest one is, I think I found a named elite, or I think he named himself. I'm not 100% sure. But like there was a crashed ship that didn't look banished. It didn't look covenant. It looked like a crashed ship. Yeah. And there was just a lone elite up there that was really difficult. And he had like armor, like shield cloaked himself, and like I had to hit him a good few fucking times to kill him. But I was like, this is just a random guy. There's not even a collectible up here either. Yeah. So they really kind of just didn't make it feel flush with things and people in it. So, and that's the other thing. I'm not hearing people complain about the campaign. I'm also not hearing people like love it. I feel like people are just content with it, and I'm more happy with that.
Yeah, it's not a thing that they're like, oh, this is the best campaign, like, this is like battling it up there with like Halo 3 campaign or Halo Reach. It's kind of like, this is good. Like, this is quite good. It's not bad like Halo 5, and it's not amazing like the good ones, but it's pretty good. Like, it's quite enjoyable. And I think that's, like you said, the best thing, I think. Just to have it really enjoyable, and that's it. Like,
what I am looking forward to when I half am half not, because I still have to do the audio files. What I am looking forward to when I play on Legendary over Christmas is I'm looking forward to just playing the campaign modes, because when I played the other one, when I played a normal like how I am now and I went through fucking everything, I was kind of just like, cool, the campaign's a bit disjointed for me now, but that's my own fault. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When I like, because there's a section in it where you're just playing mission after mission for a little while, which I fucking loved because I didn't even realize it was happening for a little while. I was like, oh, this is still a mission. This is unreal. When I'm playing mission after mission, it is actually a really good campaign. It's really like, damn, this is pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to when I play it all on Legendary and just play the campaign missions. That's like, yeah, here you go. Here's this stuff. This is just the campaign, and I actually am looking forward to trying to complete it all in a speed run within 8 hours, which I think I can do. I think I can do it.
You can.
Yeah,
stream that shit too.
It won't be just 8 hours. It'll be a few playthroughs, but yeah.
No, one sit through.
I probably could do it, honestly. I probably could do it. The last thing I'll say about Halo Infinite, because we do have the Game Award releases to go through. There's a fuck ton of them. But it does have one of the coolest enemy intros I have ever fucking seen in any game. Because I won't say, it's not a spoiler per se, but it's just an elite with a red energy sword at one point. You see him at the
saw that.
Game. Did you see it? Like how he just like scrapes the ground, but it's invisible and shit. As soon as I saw it, I just went, oh fuck.
Yeah, in fairness, the visuals in that game are amazing in general. But that's just awesome.
It's like shot differently, because other Halo games, it's kind of like, it's all fixed cameras and like a kind of a pan shot every now and again. This is like swooping camera angles are really close up, and Chief is so fucking cool.
Yeah, so, he is. Like I was watching my dad play the first campaign mission, and where he's at the ship, and he's like, what are you gonna do? You only have one bullet. It's like, improvise. It's like, oh, this man is awesome.
Oh, Chief is after. What I love. No, there was a post by a fucking Instagram page. I think it was Gameology or someone, and they like showed 9 characters, all male characters, and like this is peak masculinity, but they didn't have Chief there. Like the first, I always scroll through the first 20 like comments. All of them, nearly all, bar like 2 or 3 were like, "Where's Master Chief?" And it's absolutely. What was the line? He said a line.
He did. What was it? It's.
I can't remember what it was, but it was so fucking cold.
It was something like this is dangerous, and it's like, yeah, for them or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. It was like I must insist that the odds are so again, or the odds are not in their favor, or it's not in favor. Yeah, of them. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, something.
Oh
like
my
that.
god!
Yeah. It's like, oh, no need to be this cold, man.
He's so cool. He's definitely one of my favorite game characters of all time.
Oh yeah, he's fucking awesome. But yeah, we have to get onto the game.
We do.
Awards.
But we'll mention Gameology did put up a post saying this is what the Spartan 2s are, and they got so many things wrong, and everyone called them out on it. But the main one is that they call the Spartans in Greek mythology. They did exist. The Spartans existed.
Yeah.
But anyway, Game Awards. We have a shit ton of releases. I'll start the least ones first, which is like we got a trailer for Somerville, which is a look at a Limbo co-creator upcoming sci-fi game. So, for people who don't know what Limbo is that like side-scrolling horror the fuck game that's terrifying. And same people, I think, or at least its co-creators, also made Inside, which was also great. So this is going to be yet another terrifying looking, at least because it's sci-fi, like story-based game that's just going to be a lovely playthrough.
Yes. Yeah, that does look quite nice.
We also got Hellblade 2, which, I mean, okay, but that's too late to finish the other one.
Hellblade 2. Did you not finish Hellblade?
No, I never finished it. I got to the last boss. I'm literally on the last section of it if I play it on some, like, one of the Xboxes, and I just stopped playing it.
I thought you had it done.
No, it was just weird.
Yeah. That was an okay game, I guess.
It was actually pretty good. That's the thing. I just got kind of... They kept repeating mechanics, so I was like, I'm a bit bored now. So I got to the last boss, I was like, I'm really bored now. I'll leave it be for it right now. Just never went back. One that I didn't see released, I didn't see a trailer of, but I am incredibly interested in. I said interested, weird. Interested in, is a Wonder Woman game coming out. It's in the works, but it's by the Shadow of Mordor people.
Yeah. So that gets you thinking, is it going to be that kind of gritty type of game?
Yeah.
Because Shadow of Mordor is quite gritty and dark and all
awesome.
that jazz. Yeah. So maybe, like, that would be a cool Wonder Woman game if it was dark and gritty and yeah. And we don't really have a Wonder Woman game, or even ever got one, I think.
I'll type it up and see, have a little look. I don't think we have either, in fairness.
I don't think so, but that could be really good and could work really well. And like we said, if there's never been a game, you can explore pretty much anything.
There's a board game.
Oh, okay. There's probably a Monopoly out there too, but yeah. It was a weird one that obviously wasn't expected, but it definitely sounds cool.
Yeah, it looks like I'm just seeing a picture of it. It looks pretty cool too. Oh, and they use a Nemesis system. Oh, this is interesting.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. See, the biggest thing about here it is. I'll read it first. Its standout feature is the Nemesis system, which was like there was a load of fucking enemies around the place, a load of things. And depending on how you kill them, depending on how you attack or what weaknesses they used, or if they kill you, or like, no matter what the fuck happens with this enemy, an outcome will become a part of it. That's what this nemesis system does, and it's going to use it in this game as well.
Okay.
So it's a method for not managing non-player characters. So there's going to be something in this Wonder Woman game that's going to take over. It's going to be decision based, heavily decision based.
I like that.
I love that.
Yeah. I like when a game isn't like set in stone. I like when you're able to affect the way it ends and stuff. I like that.
I'm seeing if like, yeah, it's definitely gonna make it more versatile anyway. It's just yeah, it'd be really cool if like depending on how you this. Okay, I know it's not gonna be like this, but I did just think of a superhero like type game that could really work. Probably work best for Batman since he's a bit more real. But if you're doing the whole nemesis system thing, and it's gonna be like depending on how you deal with situation, it's how powerful this enemy's gonna be. I would love it if you like start off as a really young Batman and all the villains are like kind of powerful, but they set out different crimes and shit like that, and they set out different things that happen in a free roam open world game type of, like Batman Arkham City, Arkham Asylum type of thing, Arkham City more so. And you have to go and defeat them, you know, stop them, and if you can't, or if they succeed, or if you don't get there in time or something like that, they become more powerful, and you literally see them kind of grow out. And depending on like which one you focus on, other ones will become more powerful, and they'll become the final boss.
That'd be cool. That would be quite cool. Yeah, that'd be really hard to make though.
But I don't know, with this nemesis system, it's possible. With the nemesis system, it is definitely something that they could do.
Yeah, it'll definitely have to be something that it'll, like the Riddler and the Joker are both doing something at the exact same time, and you just gotta pick one, and whichever one you don't pick gets stronger. Yeah, that would be quite cool actually. That's interesting. Go pitch it to Warner Bros.
Yeah, well, they make a good decision.
We copyright the idea. If Warner Bros is listening, we will sue you if you come out with it. We're getting a Sonic open world game.
Sonic
Frontiers.
Oh. Right, no, because like there was a few releases that I was like, I know about these already. It's been there for a while. Sonic was one of them. Can't remember the name of it though.
Frontiers.
Oh, you said it a few times?
Yeah. Yes, it's an open world Sonic game. Again, we've expressed our love for Sonic and Sonic games, not recently, because Sonic games recently have been quite poor. So hopefully this is good, but with their track record, probably not.
Yeah, let's be real.
I feel like the one that really caught my eye, that was announced during the game show, was The Matrix Awakens.
Okay.
Not because it's a Matrix game.
Okay.
But because of the Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, yeah.
Because that shit is terrifying. That is way too realistic for my
and the
liking.
fact that they've paired it with the Matrix, that's not cool.
That's
terrifying.
Yeah, it's fucking terrifying. The other side of it though is, and I was talking to my brother about this, is that it really does look really, really realistic.
Oh yeah, super.
But to the point that it almost feels unrealistic.
It is a weird uncanny valley thing.
Yeah.
It's like you've gone beyond it to this point where like your brain is telling you it's not real, but it's having that internal, because it's not. Yeah, it's, for those who don't know what like uncanny valley is, it's like an upside down bell curve for all the world, where it's like on the left side it's something that looks completely non-realistic. Just think of a fucking square. That's not human based at all. So you look at it and go, that's not human. But as you kind of like come down into the curve, it's like more and more realistic. But it's like you hit the very bottom where it's not realistic enough to make you go, okay, it's human, but it's perfectly there where you go, it's fake, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
But then as you go back up, you get to a point where it's more realistic, but your brain keeps saying it's not real, and then that's when you kind of like, yeah, you look at it and your brain will go, it looks realistic, but you know something's wrong. Yeah. So this is like but this goes beyond it, where it's so realistic that your brain has to tell you, no, it's not real.
Yeah. Because it is just so realistic. Like, I saw them driving the car, a bit of gameplay on it, and they're driving the car and it crashes and it looks so real, but it's almost like too real, and you're like, no, this can't be, this isn't real, you know.
It's kind of freaking you out. Weird. It'll also detonate PCs.
It's gonna explode most PCs when it comes out. But that Unreal Engine 5, that's not the first thing that I've seen from it. It's a terrifying thing. We're coming very, very close to a Matrix real life, or some sort of like, with that whole metaverse thing that Facebook came out with the whole like, that's gonna be like Ready Player One. Like, we're getting way too close.
I'm gonna, like, whoever listens to this, or at least this point, if you're on this point, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind a little bit. The scariest thing that I've ever heard is like the whole. I was gonna bring this up probably. Well, I don't know. It's about simulations.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, the whole thing with simulations is like, the thing that scares people the most is if you don't know if you're living in simulation or not. You don't have to. This is the thing that I fucking love and terrify me. We don't have to worry about that because. For the moment, because the whole thing is, if we live in simulation, that means someone had to create a universe where no matter what the hell happens, it's independent of itself, and we're okay with that because we're at a point where we are the people who will make it, but we're not in that position yet. We're not in the position that we are in a simulation because one hasn't been made. And we can't tell if we have been made, so we're not really in the position of it or not, because that technology has been made here. Yeah. So we're not the first. There's a possibility we're not the first, and we're definitely not the last. Because if we're this close to making it, then there's a good old chance that we are going to be in a simulation. If we make it, that's going to freak people out.
Yeah. Like the whole thing with like simulations is that like you would go in, you put in this headset, and it would simulate a whole life in about 5 minutes, but you would live a whole life, but it would feel like real time, but it's actually like 5 minutes. And like you said there, like we're probably like the first to create it, but for all we know, we're already in a simulation, and then we're going to go into a simulation in a simulation. I don't even want to think about it.
As soon as we create one, that is like, because if it's impossible to create a universe within something, we're not in a simulation because it's just not really possible. Now, obviously, if you go to the multiverse side of things, there is a chance that we are, because we're in that time. But if we're just going for basic ones at the moment, basic paradoxical thought processes, you know, the whole thing is, if one hasn't been made, it can't be made, so we're safe and not in a simulation. But as soon as we do make one, we're fucked. We could be the last.
Everyone's gonna be like
first.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be like, if we made it in this, what's you know what? Why aren't we in a simulation? Like, what's stopping us from actually being in a real simulation?
And nothing's going to stop me from putting on a tinfoil hat and being your dead fucking right. Let's go to work.
True. Also, not going to stop me from participating in the simulations, because that
absolutely not.
Cool yet terrifying. I feel like simulations though would cause a lot of mental problems, because like, could you imagine like coming out of a simulation after 5 minutes and going like, where's my wife, where's my kids, like and all this, and like you remember all the issues and everything that you had in this fake life, but now you're back into like your normal life. That's terrifying.
And I feel like with simulations, I do say when they are made, it's not going to be like that. I think Matrix definitely polluted people's minds of like, people go in there and come out 5 minutes. No, it's going to be like, we create a universe within a computer software that doesn't know it's fake, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sad we came onto this topic now, because we still need to fucking talk about Star Wars.
Star Wars? Oh, the new Star Wars game?
Yeah. Now, in true Star Wars fashion, they've shown us a fucking incredible looking trailer, which I have no idea what the hell it's about. And perfect. So my brother about this during the week. They didn't show us anything. They showed us a load of species. They showed us a load of planets. They showed us these weird fucking drumming alien species that I have never seen before, and he has never seen before. I don't think I've ever been shown before. So instantly, I'm like, you guys have some form of like thought process going correct at the moment.
Yeah.
But in also true fashion, it ain't coming out for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. It was like, oh my god, this is awesome. When do we get this? I don't know. Long time. Say, why?
Why do that? But why do that?
Yeah.
Like,
why do
have
that?
they not learned from fucking Cyberpunk? Have they not learned from plenty of other games? Like, if you show sorry, I don't know what happened there. If you show an Unreal game and don't release it for a few years, you're going to change a shit ton of it, and it's not going to be like the same one.
No, and people are going to be, this isn't what we were waiting for.
Now, I am terrified it's going to be an RTS.
Could it be?
This is my thing. They show a load of planets. They show a load of random factions. They show a load of like just in-depth cinematic shots, and they show one indiscriminate giant force of enemies. That sounds like StarCraft a bit. I'd be livid.
Could you imagine though?
I'd lose my shit. This was set in the High Republic, and one person did cop that there's a lightsaber that looks like Count Dooku's one, but it's green.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. It also wouldn't be the first Star Wars RTS game that we get, so hopefully not.
Yeah, in fairness, but then again, I'd probably give it a go. So if it's anything like Halo Wars 1, that'd be fine.
Yeah, we say that, but we're anticipating something that, and then it takes
we want more.
Watch this, it's RTS. No, we wanted open world RPG.
Yeah.
I say it's open world RPG. I don't think they would have done
action
a big
adventure
release. Yeah, I wouldn't say they would have done a big, massive 3-year advance release on it or RTS game.
For an RTS, maybe not. Yeah, that's the thing. But like the fact that they say it's just an action adventure game still scares me because it could still be top down.
Yeah, definitely. Don't want that though.
Nah. As long as it's RPG, you don't give a shit. You can give me whatever the hell you want.
And they also announced one that I want to quickly touch on. A game that came and went really, really fast, which was Among Us. VR, Among Us VR.
That'd be fucking terrifying.
Terrifying.
I tried that.
That must be very terrifying though. Like imagine doing a task and then this fucking another person sneaks up on you and stabs you to death. That's quite terrifying. They're really milking Among Us though at this stage. They took way too long to release it to console. If they would have released it to console a lot sooner, it might still be alive. Took way too long. And now no one plays it.
I think people still play it. Yeah. I think people still play it. It's just like no, I'd say no matter what, whenever they release it, it'll still be big.
Yeah, probably. What is that? The Expanse?
The Expanse is a video game that's made from it's like a Telltale game from the Life is Strange True Colors developers. Don't really have a lot of time, but yeah, that is a good looking one, sci-fi looking type of thing. But let's hope it's decent in some regard.
Yeah. One of the games announced that just came out today.
Which is?
Tunic?
Never heard of it.
Neither have I. And we ended on that.
Yeah, run our outro.
Yeah, so that's it for this week. Follow us on Instagram, where we post movie reviews and TV show reviews. Follow our TikTok, where we post funny clips from the Let's Plays and our podcast. And yeah, our YouTube, where we post Let's Plays and the podcast as well. So that's it, and bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.